traveler, you've returned. Good. The fire burns low, but the night is still young, and the tale I have for you tonight is one of peril, of molten stone and searing heat, of a place where the very heart of dragons beats beneath the earth. Sit close, for this is a story few dare to speak of, the journey into the heart of fire. You see, deep within the ashen peaks, past treacherous cliffs and rivers of stone turned to glass, lies the maw of the world, a great volcano said to be the cradle of all dragonkind. It is whispered that within its depths burns the essence of their power, a flame so ancient and pure that even time itself bends to its will. Few have set foot beyond its blackened gates, and fewer still have returned to tell the tale. But there was one, a lone wanderer, a seeker of truth, who dared to descend into the abyss. His name is lost to time, but the legends call him the Fireborn. He was neither warrior nor king, not bound by duty nor drawn by greed. His journey was one of knowledge, of understanding the great worms beyond myth and fear. The path was treacherous, the air thick with the scent of sulfur, the sky veiled in a shroud of ash. Yet he pressed on, guided only by the whispers of an ancient prophecy that spoke of fire, flesh, and fate entwined. The entrance to the maw was not a place of stone and ruin, but a living thing, breathing heat and exhaling smoke. The very air shimmered with power. Each step forward felt like walking deeper into a great beast's throat, the walls slick with molten veins, pulsing like lifeblood. The deeper he ventured, the heavier his body felt, as if the weight of the ages pressed upon his shoulders. The deeper he went, the more he could hear it, a sound unlike any other. Not the crackling of flame, nor the groaning of stone, but something older, something alive. Then, at last, he saw it, the heart of fire, a colossal forge of creation, a vortex of pure flame that pulsed with the rhythm of the world itself. This was no mere fire. It was the source of draconic power, the ember from which all worms were born. Its glow was blinding, its heat unbearable, and yet he did not turn away. He stepped closer, knowing that he stood on the precipice of truth, and that is when he saw them. Not statues, not carvings, but dragons, ancient and unmoving, their bodies forged of obsidian and gold, their eyes aglow with slumbering embers. Guardians were bound to the flame, their souls intertwined with its eternal blaze. They had been waiting for one who would seek the truth, not with hunger for power, but with reverence for what was lost. One of them stirred, a great worm, its scales as dark as the abyss, its breath a slow exhalation of embers and smoke. It regarded him, not as prey, not as an enemy, but as something else, a guest, a witness. And so the Fireborn listened. The dragon spoke not in words, but in visions, in waves of heat that painted stories in the air. He saw the first flames, the birth of the dragons when the world was young. He saw the forging of the ancient covenant, when humankind and wyrm stood as one. And he saw the breaking of that bond, the betrayal, the war, the endless cycles of fear and destruction that followed. But among the visions, there was something more, a warning. The flame was waning. The heart of fire, eternal as it seemed, was not unbreakable. It had been wounded by the loss of the covenant, weakened by centuries of silence, and should it ever fade completely, the dragons would fade with it. The Fireborn knew then what had to be done. He had sought knowledge, but he had found duty. The flame could not be left to dwindle. If humankind wish to understand the dragons once more, to heal the wounds of the past, then the flame must be tended. And so, with the mark of fire upon his soul, he ascended from the depths, carrying with him a truth that would change everything. But the world above had long since turned its back on the old ways. Few would believe him, fewer still would listen. The embers of the covenant were weak, smothered beneath the weight of time. But they were not gone. No, so long as the flame still burned, there was hope. And so, traveler, I ask you this. If you stood before the heart of fire, if you saw the great worms waiting in the dark, would you turn away? Or would you dare to reach out, to mend what was broken? The night is long and the fire still burns. Think on it. The next time you hear the rumble of distant thunder, the crackle of flame in the wind, remember this tale. Perhaps, just perhaps, the dragons are waiting for us to remember too.